Hey, welcome back to another episode of Morg's Brew. You're here in my rainwater harvesting system that I set up in a video last week. But this week's going to be a bit different. We're going to use some of this rainwater and we're going to make a fermented pineapple juice. Let's not call it a beer. Stick around for the process. I set this up on Sunday, got my batch together. It's now Friday. I'm going to be bottling this out, and then tomorrow we're going to be drinking it with my mates. And seeing as though we've got the social distancing and we're all in lockdown here in South Africa, we're not going to be doing this together, but we've got a virtual bar meetup and we're all going to taste our brews and see who comes up with the best one. I'll share all the recipes, I'll share our responses, and I'm going to help you guys out in getting yourselves ready for your own fermented pineapple beverage. Hey, it's me guys. I know I'm a little bit different now, but I just want to quickly go over the process behind this fermented pineapple juice, as I've been calling it. So effectively what's happening inside there is you've got an organism called yeast, and yeast is eating sugar. Now, the more sugar you're going to put in your mix, the more potential alcohol you can get from it. Now, that's not always the case because it depends on the strains of yeast. So different types of yeasts will produce different amounts of alcohol. The reason you're probably going to end up with a bit of a hangover the next day is the chain length of the alcohol. Methanol is produced and can be produced in quite high quantities by these bugs. High concentrations of methanol can actually make you go blind. So be careful, be clean, but don't be OCD. You're gonna end up with these guys turning that sugar into yeast poo, and that's what we want. But there are ways of optimizing this, and as you get more skilled, you will find that it is worth trying to figure those nuances out. But for now, this is good enough for a home brew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys through the process that I went into making it, and then we're going to sit down here at my desk at the end where I'm sharing our brews with a group of friends of mine. So bottoms up, I'll see you guys at the end and I'll let you know how it all went.
Our best to protect ourselves, but it just feels a little bit more secure.
Hells yeah!
Chickens even on sale, guys. There seems to be a problem across the country. We're lacking brewers, the yeasts. Step number one, boil your stuff, sterilize it. We're living in a contaminated world. Unfortunately, we can't boil ourselves and sterilize ourselves every time we get back in town. But we can definitely boil these guys, and I guarantee it's going to be a good idea for those newcomers to the brew. You don't want to end up with explosive guts the next day. So, tip number one, boil it down properly. Let's go. Grams, that's 1,004 grams, it's a kg. The reason you're putting sugar in there is you're trying to feed your yeast and you want your yeast to poo. And it's the poo of the yeast that we're after. That's what we want to drink in our juice. So we're looking for yeast poo, and the more sugar we put in, the more yeast poo we get. Done with all the weighing, let's check out the pots too. This is smelling none here now. Boiling away very nicely. Look at that, look at that. Guys, Guys, as far as a fermentation vessel goes, you can pretty much use anything. I'm just going to run through some of the considerations that I went through when I chose one. I wanted something that was nice and deep, that I wasn't going to fill up to the top, so that's why a bucket is nice. Also, a bucket is really nice when you come down to getting your stuff out again. You can nice and easily lower in a beaker like that and pull out portions to decant into your bottling. So I've got in here 12 liters of water. And I've got 3 liters in here. This has been boiling now for just on 10 minutes. I'm going to pour it into this bucket with my 12 liters of water in there. Now you see this is all open. What could be happening as I'm talking is little projectile yeasts are coming out of my mouth and landing on the surface in there. They could be. And that's the same thing you need to worry about when you're thinking of COVID. It's this type of contamination. Be careful, but don't be anal. Get it done. You're looking for yeast poo. Basically doing is it's stopping the air from going back up this pipe and into here, but it's allowing the air inside here to come out. Basic process is you need a hole in the top of your lid, and then I've got a piece of just fish tank line or sprinkler pipe. Any of these things will do, and we're going to drop him through this hole. It's a tight fit. Check it out. Works. But now you can see my ugly mug face has been on this. That is a contact point. I need to sterilize this, or I'm going to have potential back contamination from where my lips touched into my brew, and that is not what we want. Shoo! Okay, back to the business end of the story, which is here in the kitchen. The last thing we do with any brew is you get a piece of cardboard. Any kind of cardboard will do. This is from our local honey producer, so I've stolen his label. Got the recipe here, put it all together. So what I've got here is 2 pineapples, firstly my date, 2 pineapples, my sugar content, which is roughly 1.6 kgs, about 5 tablespoons of molasses, and some ginger. Now these are rough quantities. You don't need to be precise to the grain of sugar. You got to do it by taste. So this is the pre-brew. This is what it looks like. It's a bit darker than you might do at home if you don't do molasses. Yo, toady man, sweet, 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 sweet. The beauties of all that sweetness is that in a week's time, it's not going to be sweet. It's going to be yeast poo, and yeast poo goes to your head in the strangest ways. I need to do something to address this COVID hazard that I'm wearing on my face. It's for the better, I promise. My vet told me to shave it. Guys, this is dangerously nice stuff. It tastes really good. This is probably why they call it punch. So if you do decide to make this at home, make sure you pay attention to a few careful things. Time equals more potency. The more time you give it, the more time the yeast has to turn the sugars into alcohol, so the stronger it'll be. But not only stronger in this homebrew sense isn't always a good thing, because stronger also means more methanol proportionally. And that is where the kicker comes from. You don't really want to be brewing this stuff up too strong. It's gonna hurt, but do enjoy it. It does work. The feedback we've got is it tastes really good, it's refreshing. Get it cold, make sure you get the fizz. To get the fizz, we figure that the best way to do this is to put this into plastic bottles, Coke bottle type bottles, not the thinner plastic bottles. You want to be able to seal this nicely, and those bottles have got a busting pressure of about 12 bars, so you're pretty safe in most environments. It's the simplest way to get the best fizz is using plastic bottles. Other than that, yeah, pay attention to just trying to minimize the chance of contamination. Guys, enjoy this. If you've made it this far and you're at the end of this video, please subscribe to my channel. I got more content like this coming up. This is in the climate of the mind at the moment. This is the scenario we're living in. This is the world we're part of. Pay attention to the things you're doing. I hope by partaking in brewing some of your own beer, it does expose you to some of these microorganisms that are around us all the time. You can really use the knowledge you get from trying to figure out how to brew beer in your approach to your day-to-day life in using microbially aware approach to your movements through the world. So go out there, be careful, but don't be scared. I hope it works for you guys. It's worked for all of us. We've all got a little bit saucy from our drinks and we've enjoyed it. It does kick a little bit the next day, but just drink responsibly and it'll be fine. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notifications bell at the same time so you get an update when I upload the next one of these.